Uh, I'm resident of Collinwood. I'm broadcasting straight from hell. Uh,
He's
Damn.
Diablos.
I am with Christine Pierce, Samantha
Hello.
Lomusico, Alan Galland, Patrick McCray. We're here. Yes, we are here to talk the 2012 Dark Shadows movie, but we're also going to talk about the news of the Dark Shadows anime, adult animation. We're going to give our some opinions here. So the movie first. Let's start with that first. Directed by Tim Burton, screenplay by Seth Graham-Smith, story by John August Seth Graham-Smith, based on Dark Shadows by Dan Curtis, obviously. Produced by Richard D. Zennick, Graham Kane, Johnny Depp, Christy Dembrowski, David Kennedy. Cinematographer is Bruno Delbino. Music by Danny Elfman, thank God.
Thank God.
Produced by Warner
Very good
Brothers
music.
and Roadshow Entertainment. Release dates, there's a ton here. May 7th, 2012, Los Angeles, baby. May 12th, 2012, Australia. May 11th, 2012, United States.
That's
Budget, 150 million. Box office, $245.5 million, baby. Ladies first. Samantha, when did you first see this?
I believe I'm the only one on the panel who probably saw this movie before they saw the show. Am I right?
as
You
far
are
as I'm
correct.
concerned, you
You are
are.
correct. You are correct.
Gateway into the fandom. And I saw this movie probably when it was on TV. I didn't see it in theaters. And I just thought it was kooky and another Tim Burton kookiness, weird, pale people, little spooky, and okay, that's fine. And then my dad told me, oh, yeah, that was based on a show. And I was like, you're kidding. This was like a show. And that fell down the rabbit hole from there. And it made so much more sense. It's like, I get it now. That's why it's in the 70s. I get it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's where I come from. I Tim Burton first.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a good because that's a fresh view of the
Yeah.
movie that
Yeah.
doesn't involve religious fervor and words like
Yeah.
travesty and
Yeah.
that.
Things.
Yeah,
So
Yes.
I,
Love it.
Alan, I think you are wisely bringing something up, and I don't know what the ground rules of the discussion need to be or going to be or need any, but I think you brought up something I think is important, and it's you always do, but it's this. Um, I mean, somewhat dismissively, but yeah, we there are people who use words like travesty, and it's so hyperbolic, you know, it's so extreme that it's easy and almost a pleasure to kind of knock those people down and say, oh, it's just a
I'm
movie.
knocking the people down. I'm knocking the idea down. I disagree with that idea. That's all.
You disagree with the idea that it's a travesty?
Not personalizing it.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Well, I mean, it was a wave. It was a movement right after the movie came out.
Yeah.
And Facebook was, just on fire with it. You couldn't
I
mention
wasn't
the
paying.
name. You couldn't mention the name of the movie without people getting really upset.
Really?
Yes.
See, I missed all of that.
Yeah, and I just never got that invested in it. I always looked at it as a separate animal, and sure, there's flaws to be had. I understand that, but I always looked at it as a separate animal, not somehow a threat to my experience watching the original series.
Yeah.
Right.
Christine, when did you first watch this movie?
So I saw it in theaters, bought the pre-release because I'm like Dark Shadows, let's do this,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm one who watched the show all my life, saw the revival, saw all the movies, whatever. And so I saw it in 2012. I saw it in the theaters with my husband and made a whole date of it. And
And you're still married.
I am remarried, thank you.
Oh, okay, good. See what it did? See?
I know. and it wasn't with the husband I'm married to now. So
See, he dodged the bullet.
Yeah,
That dream,
that
Chris,
is that is a story for another time. But
Oh my God. My God.
I said.
Alan, when did you first see this?
I saw the first midnight showing, and then I got right back up the next day and went with the Central Florida Dark Shadows fan club, and about 15 of us went and saw it again.
It's the
I
same damn
I
movie.
have good memories of seeing it because of that. It was a really nice social event, and I just allowed myself to, enjoy it, flaws and all, at that point in time.
that's how I did too. I at first watch I didn't hate it. At first watch, and
Mhm.
then of course, we do what we do and we pick it apart. And I'm like, well, that was wrong. This was wrong. This was wrong. But I'll save that for when it's my turn. So,
Very, very good.
Sure.
Patrick,
yeah.
when did you first see this?
I saw it opening day. I saw it that afternoon. I saw it at a matinee, is what they called them in the old days.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was right after work, and I don't know if they had a midnight showing or not. I didn't see ashes of anyone having been burned in effigy out in front of the theater. Um, it was a film of not intense hatred on my part any more than I hate any unsuccessful comedy.
Mhm.
Problem is, it's a bad comedy. It's not funny, and it's not funny on its own. With his Austin Powers 4 kind of level jokes. Um, there's the occasional amusing moment. I'm not saying it wasn't funny. Like there was a law against it being funny, but
Mhm.
it just was not a very successful comedy to me. It was no Tin Drum, and so I have issues with that. Yeah, I do think Dark Shadows is funny. I think it's very funny. I think it's a good sitcom, and I said that before, and so it I was depressed that it wasn't funny. I was depressed that it wasn't a good Dark Shadows parody either. Which is what I thought. Well, if you're not going to go for one, go. Like Star Trek: The Motion Picture is a hilarious, dead-on parody of Star Trek. So it could have at least done that. Um, and so it felt like a movie that, in any regard, was constantly guys falling short of committing to anything strongly enough that that's its identity, and
I
it's
think
a focus group to death.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why it was focus group to death. It was also rewritten hastily
Yes,
because of concerns about oversaturation of vampire dramas that was going on at the time, with things
yep.
like True Blood being incredibly popular at that
That was a
time.
story that didn't come out until the art book came out.
Yeah, I knew about it earlier. Other people had talked about it, and I also kind of gleaned it from my own experience. And eventually, I came to the conclusion that it wasn't as much Burton's choice as it was the studio's choice. Although Burton obviously went along with it and created the movie,
So,
so
you're talking about Zanuck, Robert Brown,
yes, I'm talking about Zanuck. Yeah,
and his
particularly Zanuck.
possible.
I
Yeah.
think he was concerned that it was going to come out and be just another one of these vampire dramas that were going on at that time.
I
And
don't recall. No, it's
I,
funny though.
I don't think it would have been just another anything if they'd gone
Yeah,
that way. But you know,
As, it's funny that you mentioned that though, because in the cab ride over to the studio, I was thinking about the fact that all of the examples that they gave were, with the exception of Twilight, which might as well be made for TV movies,
well,
uh,
yeah,
that it was all TV stuff.
yeah. But again, it's markets. It's considered market saturation.
I know. It's ironic though that
Yes, that
that
it's
that a
that
show that started out, a thing started out as a TV show, when it gets to be a movie, is suddenly being bound by the rules of TV again.
Yes. There is an element of irony there, but there's no irony in the fact that I think that confusion reigned about what the script was going to be, because August had probably written us. I think that this is true. He'd written a serious dramatic script for the most
Yes,
part.
I've read it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that just got just thrown in a blender with a couple of frogs and a silver tipped cane and a few other things.
What did you like about this movie? What was your favorite scenes, your favorite characters, Samantha?
I like like that they made Victoria and Maggie one person. That really helped clearing it up. And then I really enjoyed that Collinwood came to life at the end. The portraits started to laugh, and the sculptures were coming to life. So it's like, oh
Right.
yeah, this really is the haunted house. I liked the. Well, I guess after I watched the actual show and went back and watched the movie again, I was like, oh, I get it. This is why people hate it. Um, with the whole Julia.
Yeah, yeah. That
What
that
about
was that was not apropos of the series at
Right.
all.
But it was funny.
Yes,
But
it was.
I noticed the little Easter eggs, like, oh, she was at Wyncliffe when she was institutionalized, Maggie, and that the bar that they see Christopher Lee is the Blue Whale. So there is, there's Easter eggs all throughout. Um, but yeah, I do like the simplification of changing Maggie to Vicky to Josette. It's all one girl.
Well, yeah, that's a bit of elegance that the story really needs. I think,
Especially in a movie format, it
movie
helps
format.
streamline things nicely. Yeah.
I'm saying the franchise needs that.
Yes.
Because it was just a bizarre casting accident that they ended up being two different people. I'm sure if they had known ahead of time, they would have said, Alexandria, get in the ghost outfit,
Yeah.
And I don't mean like, backstage. I mean, like on
Right. Not at the Drake Hotel. Okay.
My husband's favorite part is when Barnabas is looking for a place to sleep, and it's a whole montage of him in the closet or hanging upside down and all sorts of stuff. And he prefers this version because he's seen both because he's seen me watch the show all the time. But when this is on, he'll actually sit and watch it and laugh, and it's just like, oh, you fool! But it's okay.
It's interesting because I found some of it funny. I mean, obviously, it's very inconsistent,
Entertaining.
and some of the jokes really fall flat. But some of it I found funny. But most of the stuff that I found funny, a lot of the people right afterwards found deeply offensive.
like what? Lay it on us.
Anything. That scene that you just mentioned, the thing about the television set, tiny songstress and all that.
Oh, but
I thought that was
he dresses the elf
very funny,
room.
and people were just absolutely, not everybody was, but a lot of people were deeply offended by that because it didn't follow the spirit of the original series in any.
We never saw the moment when Jonathan Fritz, Barnabas Collins first encountered television.
Right.
That's right. We never did.
saw that moment.
But and apparently some people never wanted to see that moment.
Yeah.
So, but again, it's a matter of taste, and it's also a matter of how deeply committed some folks are to that original sort of feeling that they got from the show. I think is what it is. It's very emotional. It's a very emotional thing for some people. For me, it I mean, the original series has very much an emotional tie for me, but it's not something that I consider, heretical to experiment with.
No, it's not.
It's
not. I think the issue is we just have to look at the results of
correct.
that.
It's some things are a failure. Some things will be a
particular
failure.
Experiment, not making it a comedy, not any of this, but with that particular attempt.
Yes.
Samantha, you were saying something? I'm sorry.
Oh, I actually really enjoy the addressing him coming the 200-year difference
Okay.
because that was something, something almost like Mel Brooks type of thing. It's like, well, get the horses ready, let's go. Like, oh, we don't anymore.
Yeah.
How did this little lady get inside the TV? I thought that was funny. I liked it.
Christine, what's some of your favorite parts?
Honestly, okay. I feel like this panel of people, we're all pretty diverse in our journey of Dark Shadows. I think that, and tell me if I'm wrong, discuss whatever. I think that we can appreciate about this film because I had my season of hating it. I'm like, this is not Dark Shadows. I think it is a travesty. However, like two things. I think that me personally, I can appreciate how how Burton attempted to bring Dark Shadows into our world. There's a McDonald's there. We got to see Collinwood, and Barnabas Collins is coming out of his coffin after 200 years. How do you think he's going to react? What is this? What is this woman in the TV? What is this? He sees McDonald's and thinks Mephistopheles, and I don't know. I think that bringing it into our world, that I feel like that's what we're going to see. I know we're not here yet, but to discuss this animated series is coming up. They're going to bring Dark Shadows into our world, not into 1966. They're going to bring it into 2026, 2027, 2028, whenever it comes out. And the second thing, and Samantha, you're like proof of this. This was a gateway for people to watch the original series. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because young people, exactly. Young people like my kids who are 19 and 18 years old have never seen Dark Shadows. They're my kids, so they've heard of it, of course, and I'm going to force them to watch it. But the 2012 film, oh, this is cool. This is a cool movie. Well, let me introduce you to what brought this on, and it's a gateway. It's a gateway to, introduce this brand new world and what we, experienced, growing up, whatever. And I can appreciate it for that. So that was a long-winded answer. So
you said a lot of interesting things there. One of them I want to bookmark to talk about later, and that's when the animated series will take place. But that's bookmark.
Okay, I got you. Alan, what are some of your favorite parts?
I really, obviously, like a lot of people, I really enjoyed those first 6 or 7, 8 minutes of it leading to the whole thing. I thought that captured a lot of what made Dark Shadows Dark Shadows.
Agreed.
And so that was very nice. And Nights in White Satin was a great song to start.
Oh, beautiful. Love it.
So all of that worked really well. In terms of once you get into the movie, I would say anything with the village in it, because I was blown away by what they did with
absolutely.
I was absolutely blown away with that, and so all of the stuff where he first they drive into the thing and they let Victoria off and all that sort of thing, and then when Barnabas is released from his coffin and he ends up wandering into town and checking all of that out. You see Collinsport at night, and you see Collinsport at nights, and then during the daytime in several of them. I mean, it's a character. It's a real character in this whole thing. So although that's not specifically a scene about the acting and whatnot, just those things, I really enjoyed that, the atmosphere of that.
Alan, you gave me an idea, and it's this, and there would be those who would say, "Don't play Monday morning quarterback," and I would look at them and say, "I will anyway." Wouldn't it have been great if in the first 6 minutes you'd added a seventh, and it just would have been certain iconic scenes around Collinsport that would have then been recreated in the present day. So you would have had, through Barnabas's eyes, this exact contrast of him trying to figure out what was where and what's changed and what hasn't. And I would have had the same actors, the same extras and so on would have been modern as well.
And they kind of had the flashback, so they had those characters established: his father, his mother, Angelique, and the fact that Collinsport was their thing that they founded in the 1700s, and they even had you saw the town being built, so there were certain areas that might be foreign to him now because the docks had been rebuilt or whatnot.
The crucial choice that they made, and it could be argued it was a good choice, it could be argued it was a bad choice, is that Joshua was not involved in his chaining up.
No.
Again, that's a 7th minute, but maybe an interesting one, because that's a major source of baggage for Barnabas to carry forward.
Right. Yeah, they eliminated that and went straight to Angelique being responsible for it all.
It was hang 'em high, kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. And how many evergreen movies have everybody seen here? Is this the first evergreen movie anybody ever saw, or what?
Yeah, we saw Casino Royale.
Well, I
Yeah.
know we saw Keith.
Yeah,
I'm not meaning me, you, and Alan.
sure. Okay, yeah.
Samantha, Christine, how many evergreen movies have you seen?
What's an evergreen movie?
Eva
Eva
Green.
Green.
Sometimes
Ava Green,
pronounced
sorry,
Eva
Angelique.
Green.
Ava Green, sorry.
She does
Angelique.
pronounce it Eva. I believe.
Angelique.
So yeah.
Oh, is it Eva? Oh, I've been saying Eva. Oh
Well,
my.
I think most people pronounce it that way, and I think that's
Yeah.
probably as appropriate as anything. You have to understand she's French and English.
Yes.
She's
Ah,
both.
okay.
Well, did you ever? What a swell party it is.
It's right.
This was the first thing I had ever seen her in. I did go back
Okay.
and watch Penny Dreadful though, which I absolutely adored her,
It's
and I thought she's
fantastic. I
fabulous.
love that series,
So
especially season 1. It's amazing.
yeah, shout out to John Logan. Love you.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was the first, I believe this is the first time I saw her. And then I watched Penny Dreadful. And then I was like, oh, that's her. I don't like her as a blonde at all.
Well, her hair is she's naturally brunette, so
Okay.
yeah.
No, because that blonde is awful. But I think maybe that was for the character because she's hiding. I don't know. You got magic powers. Make your hair look better.
Okay, I'm gonna
She
give
was
some
brunette in the beginning though, like in the first 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah, her
was.
hair's brown anyway. It wasn't black like it was in Penny Dreadful, but
Yeah.
it was dark.
I'm gonna give 2 recommendations to the ladies. Okay,
Mhm.
Casino Royale, which is a James Bond movie that Ava Green is in,
I
and one of my personal favorites, Kingdom of Heaven, which she is in as well.
Oh, good pull. Good
Yes, she's got a big role in that as well.
Yes,
Yes. And in the Bond movie, she plays Vesper Lynn.
yes, yes. Very, very good. Very, very good. I will say her chemistry with Johnny Depp is really good. Their chemistry hits well. I will say that I'm going to talk about fandom for a moment here, so I apologize. Look,
It's all good.
It's your
I'm
show, Joel.
Well, I'm a fan of Halloween and Dark Shadows, as everybody knows. Look, I was there for when Rob Zombie's Halloween came into theaters. And I remember people, I can't believe they're remaking John Carpenter's Immortal Classic. And this was right before we walked into the theaters. There were a group of people. We had 7 people. And I said, time out. Are they? Did you see this movie yet? Is that what this is? No, you didn't. Let's go in and see what we're going to see. And there were people who liked it. There were people who were vocal about it in theaters that didn't. And I'll say this: I don't care if you're not a fan of something. You don't have the right to take away somebody's appreciation for something.
I believe we call that gatekeeping.
Right,
Yeah,
that's exactly, and that was a
that's
huge
gatekeeping.
issue in the early days / years after this movie came out. It was a
agreed.
big with some people, not
Right.
a huge majority. I think
Right.
if a lot of people that disliked it could still respect other people's opinions about it.
Agreed. Yeah.
As I can
Mm.
respect people's opinions that totally disliked it. I had a
Right.
more tempered view of the whole thing,
Mm.
but there were some people that were just aggressive.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going
now-
to gatekeep my gateway?
Yeah, gatekeep your gateway.
We all need to be sensitive to Samantha right now. This is what got her into Dark Shadows. Come on.
You know what? I think it's great.
Well,
She is not the
Right.
only one. There
True.
no, there are a lot of people who.
There is
Very
a lot
true.
of people. So
Now
Agreed.
I will say there's the other side of the coin to this too. That for everybody that got into Dark Shadows because of this movie, when you asked certain people about Dark Shadows, or the other side of the coin is this: oh, you mean the 2012 movie? And they looked no further, or they've looked no further, and then you have to explain to them, well, no, I mean in the original series. Have you seen the original series? If you ask somebody if they've seen Dark Shadows, take the time to explain what that is.
I mean, it's the great thing about the original series is it's right there. You can look at it any time of the day or night.
Yeah.
It's right there
Yes.
on your computer screen.
Yes,
You know?
exactly.
Or your smart TV or whatever you want to do on Tubi and Amazon Prime and a couple other places where it's been on Pluto a few times. It pops up everywhere. It's great.
It really does. It really does. And I mean, for people who haven't had, the Coffin box set because of, whatever reason, it's like, okay, so my older sister, for example, she is just now, even though Kara and I have watched it all of our lives because of our dad, she is just now watching it through for the first time. And I forgot where I was going with that, but she's found it on Prime or whatever, but this movie was the open door for that. And that's why I think I can appreciate it, because it opens the door to however you feel about this movie, it's still, there's still things we can appreciate about it, and I've come to appreciate it for what it is, even though, my first glance, picking it apart, I was like, I don't like it. I think it's not Dark Shadows, but it does open the door for, for those of us who know the original series, we can say, hey, this is what this came from, and I don't know.
Here's a thought. Here's a thought. Point of order. And it's this. We seem to be, on a spectrum. We seem to be on a spectrum of being pretty much okay with this animated series. Everything from enthusiastic to okay. And would that reaction have happened? Would that reaction have happened if it had not been for this movie kind of breaking the seal of Dark Shadows must be, and then fill in the blank.
Right.
Dark Shadows must be reminiscent of the original series or whatever. And sometimes maybe it takes something like this, a little like the Baz Luhrmann Romeo and Juliet, to kind of for the general public to sort of shake things up and say, oh, Shakespeare can also be this.
Either when I first saw it, because I was like, this isn't Shakespeare, whatever.
Yeah.
But there is that open door, and like I said, Samantha's like living proof of that. Because you wouldn't have known about Dark Shadows had it not been for this movie, and look at everything it has produced.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the paper dolls now. I mean, that's cool. I don't know.
Well, Samantha's just a living proof anyway. I mean,
that too. Yeah. But yeah.
That's all we got to do.
Exactly.
And like, I have cousins and friends and family who love my artwork, and they're like, oh, and I show them the color book. They're like, what's Dark Shadows? What is that? And I was like, you ever see the Johnny Depp movie? Like, that's where I start. And they're like, oh, yeah, that. I'm like, well, that was based on a TV show.
Yep, exactly.
I usually don't admit this outside of my classrooms because I teach speech and theater appreciation, and among other things that I do in my life, like break my back doing tech work at a theater.
God bless you, Alan.
God bless me. I'm too damn old for this stuff. Or I will be in a few more years. But anyway, and in my speech classes, when we come to brainstorming and doing graphic examples of thought bubbles and stuff like that, where they're trying to figure out a way to break down a topic for a speech, because a lot of general topics are too big for a short speech, so you have to break it down into aspects. I use Dark Shadows, and then I explain to the class after all of that's over, and I do this whole thought process. Here's Dark Shadows in the middle. Here's your bubble. It's 1966 to 1971. And here's, Gothic literature and its connection, blah, blah, blah. And over here is first vampire soap opera or first supernatural soap opera. Down here, parallels between the secretive life of a vampire and the real life of the person who played him. Because queer theory comes into this. There's been academic books or articles written on it, where Barnabas Collins has a secret, and if secret is exposed, he gets killed, or whatever. Jonathan Frid, a gay man living in 1960s New York, his career would be over if his if it were known to be if you were known to be gay at that time. It was, a few years later, not so much, but at that time, it was still illegal to engage in gay sex. So we talk about that, and we talk about various other aspects of it. Dan Curtis, blah blah blah, and I say, okay, now from one of these, I'm going to pick, one of these sub topics, and I can do a 4 or 5 minute speech on it, and that way I inoculate them with Dark Shadows, and I also teach them something about brainstorming. So it's a little devious, and I also tell them where to find it. So.
Some of my favorite things about this movie, I love the set designs. They're really, really good. Widow's Hill, the effect of how Angelique turns Barnabas into a vampire was different. It was more like of a way of witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
I love how the house is inside out. Very well done. This was filmed in Pinewood Studios, obviously. The town looks like a fishing village. It looks wonderful, even in the past and in the present. I would give them all the credit.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest issue I would say is there's times this movie does not know what the hell it wants to be. It doesn't know whether it wants to be comedy or absolutely serious. And when you're doing horror and comedy, it's all about timing.
I agree. You can't hastily develop a script if it's a comedy. It has to be thought well.
Now, there are short horror comedies. Look, we reviewed Return of the Living Dead on here. That's not a long movie. It has moments of pure horror tension and comedy. Perfect example, when the woman goes down in the basement and sees Tarman, she screams. He's terrifying looking. Moment of comedy. When they're in the the embalming room or whatever, the guys come in, they're like, Mister, there's 100 of them things out there. 100? Yeah, it's the absurdity of it that's funny. So, I mean, you have to have the timing of it. And in this movie, when I've talked about don't dumb it down, don't ever talk down to your audience. This movie does that a bit. When Johnny Depp's Barnabas and Angelique are having a conversation, I've been locked up in a box for 200 years. She says 100 and something, whatever. My issue with that is, okay, that happened not that many frames ago. The audience knows this. Who are you telling this to? Because you're not telling it to the audience, they know it. You're sort of talking down to your audience.
But if you said who Angelique?
They're rehashing what happened in the past. You know what happened in the past. You saw it. Just not that many frames ago.
Jewel, sometimes in arguments, people will belabor the obvious, a champion of it.
Yeah.
To really make their point or to remind the other person of how much they've been through.
Yeah.
I think rhetorically that may have been why Barnabas was doing that.
Yeah, and particularly in an unhealthy relationship, when a couple bickers, they will bring up shit that happened in the past constantly.
Oh, now the realm of Barnabas. It's a very healthy relationship. It's emotionally mature.
Yes, of course.
I did tell Jackie Earle Haley that I did love his portrayal of Willie Loomis.
Oh, so he's the
standout of the movie.
Yeah,
he was real fun.
I would have happily seen a Willie Loomis movie, just him. Now, having said that, and I doubt that I did, in terms of vampire comedies of that era, yes, of course it can work, as was proved by the guys who did What We Do in the Shadows. And I would like to think maybe they sat down and looked at Dark Shadows. That was shortly before they went into production. Sort of sat down, looked at it, and said, okay, this is all the stuff not to do. And, how do we get this stuff to actually be funny? One of the
also, they didn't have the baggage of the original show either, and that was a huge advantage for them, which I think was great.
Yeah, but baggage is the sort of thing that you can. It's a two-way.
It can be a boost as well. Yeah, it can be a boost.
Yeah, I mean, because they did have the baggage of all of the vampire literature that had gone before, and the different vampires representing other fictional vampires seen. So it just depends on how you use it. Yeah.
That's what they've always told me.
Sure. Have you ever seen one shaped like this?
Yeah. Who's you guys' favorite character in this movie? Christine.
Favorite character? That's a good question. Um, honest to goodness, I actually loved Johnny Depp's Barnabas. I actually loved him. And Johnny Depp, I read, doing research on this movie, he actually did watch Dark Shadows as a kid. So I mean, I think that he got Barnabas's cadence down really well. So I mean, he can't help how the script was written, but I mean, Johnny Depp actually did an admirable job, I think, as Barnabas Collins. Like, especially in those first few minutes when they were in the past and he was exploring, the dark arts and stuff like that. Like, when I close my eyes, I'm like, this is a modern day Barnabas Collins that was brought into our day here. And so I thought Johnny Depp was fabulous as Barnabas Collins. And had he been written in, had he been written by Dan Curtis, Johnny Depp would have killed it as Barnabas Collins. So that's my vote. I love Barnabas. I love Johnny Depp's Barnabas.
There was a movie that Johnny Depp made after that, and I can never remember the title of it. Is it like Blackwater or it was
Oh,
Black
the one where
Mass.
he plays
Black
where he
Mass.
plays the gangster from Boston.
yeah, Black
Yeah.
Mass. And if you look at the way his makeup is executed in that and his physical appearance in that, look it up. If we had Depp's performance, but
It's called Black Mass, by the way.
Black Mass, yeah, if we
Black
had
Mass.
Depp's performance from the movie, but he had been costumed by those people, so just so he didn't look so clownish, literally down to white makeup and wacky hair.
Yeah.
I would have had an easier time of it. If that was the sort of thing for me that just everyone needed to be as weirdly stylized as Barnabas, and they almost were. Almost.
Almost.
Agreed.
Yeah, and
Agreed,
again,
yeah.
that's a hallmark of Tim Burton, of course. Is to have
Yeah, that would have been
like
okay
that.
because this entire universe then is
yeah,
like the movie Forbidden Zone or something. It's just
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The character that Depp was playing in Black Mass was Whitey Bulger, who was a real guy in Boston, a real bad guy. Yeah.
He's not the only actor who played him.
No.
Nicholson played him too.
Yes, he played him with a different name.
Yeah,
but
with
he
a
played
different,
him. Yeah.
different
What?
Huh?
The
The
Nicholson
Departed.
played a version of Whitey Bulger in
The Departed?
The Departed.
The
Oh,
Departed.
all right. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, Smith, who's your favorite character?
Character or actor? Yeah.
Character or actor? You go ahead.
Either way.
Well, I am a fan of Michelle Pfeiffer and Chloe Grace, who plays Carolyn. I hate her rendition of Carolyn, but I love the actress. I love her voice and her attitude, just her as an actress. I like Helena Bonham Carter, but she looks too much like the Red Queen, the Queen of Hearts in this.
Yeah.
The same
Yeah.
blue eyeshadow and red hair and pale face. She forgot to take off her makeup from Alice in Wonderland. But yeah, I really don't have a favorite. I think Barnabas's makeup is too much. His hands are so gross.
Well, I don't
You
think they
said
needed
that.
to do that. And again, that's sort of the Tim Burton sensibility. Let's make everything let's distort qualities and play with that, and you don't necessarily need to do that all the time.
And Vicky looks like she's malnourished. She's got those brown bags under her eyes.
They need a
I'm
sandwich.
gonna say Rosette's Ghost. I like her the best.
There you go.
Very cool looking. I like the way she looked.
I'll tell you what I like most about Johnny Depp's Barnabas. He's honest to a fault. Like he tells, this is not Jonathan Fritz Barnabas where he's lying his ass off. He literally tells if you would have directly asked him, "Am I a vampire?" He would tell you yes.
Yes.
When he holds the silver and says, "If this were real silver, my hand would explode."
Yeah.
That part's funny and it sounds true at the same time. You can be funny and tell the truth, which is good. I like that aspect that he's honest. Because obviously, look, movie versions we all know aren't the same as television versions, most likely. I love Evergreen's Angelique. She's beautiful. She's seductress. She's everything what should be. and she absolutely loves being evil. Jackie Earle Haley, I wish we'd have got more of in this movie as Willie Loomis. I thought the best potential funny material was probably, I expected it to be Jackie Earle Haley and Johnny Depp because it looked like it was gonna be for a moment, and it's then like they don't have a ton of scenes together. Because I love when they kill Dr. Hoffman, and Barnabas threatens Willie, and he goes, "Don't worry, Barnabas, I didn't like that bitch anyway," and I laughed my ass off. Like, all right, I could get behind that. But I like that scene very, very much. I love how the town looks, obviously. Danny Elfman's score is the most beautiful Dark Shadow score.
Mhm.
Oh, it's
Mhm.
I mean that.
fabulous. It's wonderful.
Very good. I mean, it's Danny Elfman. I shouldn't be shocked, but he did a great job.
Yeah.
Very, very good. The best, probably out of the three movies, the best scored movie is this. Absolutely.
I mean, Joel, it's not a lot of competition there.
Well, I will say I loved Night of Dark Shadows. I loved what they did there because it was a bit different than what they did with House from a score standpoint. That's why
That may have been my favorite part of the whole movie was Danny Elfman's score. Fabulous, wonderful. I love it.
Yeah, because I think with movies sometimes it's the music that goes with the movie that you're appreciating that goes with it, and you hear it goes, okay, that sounds so magnetic, and you see it's sort of like Quentin's theme when he's walking down the hallway in Night of Dark Shadows. It's like that's creepy as fuck. It's like holy shit.
It's better than him doing that to the Andy Griffith Show theme.
Yeah, there you go. Score 1 to 10. What do you give this movie, Samantha?
Seven.
There you go. Christine?
Talking overall, or are we talking
overall.
musical score? Okay.
Over the movie score.
Oh,
overall.
Dadgummit. In the grand scheme of Dark Shadows, probably a 5 or a 6. There are elements of Dark Shadows in this movie, and there are things that I can appreciate. My favorite thing of the whole deal when I was sitting in the theater when I first saw this movie is that they opened the film with the secret room, and that is my absolute favorite music of all of Dark Shadows.
That's right, when they show the Village Roadshow
yes
logo. Yes.
And they play the secret room. Oh, I got chills. I was like, oh, I can't wait. This is my favorite part, and the score, like we said, was fantastic. I mean, Danny Elfman's a genius. We all know that. He's great. But 5 or 6, because there was some things that I was just like, I mean, okay, it's a small thing, but I was like, why didn't we get the old house? Because that was Barnabas's whole stick, it's like, that's where he wanted to live. That was his family home.
They streamlined that right out of the script. Yeah.
We didn't get it at all.
Yeah.
And but I did love how they combined Vicky and Josette's character, because it was kind of like cutting out the middleman. No Maggie Evans. Okay, no big deal. We're not real upset about that, because they did that in the revival series as well.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah.
Well, she was
because they
changed her name.
Yeah, exactly. And so I don't know. I mean, there are elements of Dark Shadows in this movie, and I think with what they had, they did their best. But I mean, I guess I was kind of disappointed. But like I said, I've gained an appreciation for this film, and I don't hate it. I mean, I even bought it on DVD, so I mean, I don't hate it that much if I spent money on it. So.
Yep.
We all own a DVD, right? I mean,
I do.
Okay.
I think probably. Okay. I'm a collector of all things Dark Shadows.
Though, so me too. Me too.
That stuff.
Yeah. Alan, what do you give this one?
I'll give it a 7. I would give it a 7. I really like some of the performances in it, particularly. I love the aesthetic of it. I love the house. I like what they did with the I mean, if anything, they merged the old house basement with Collinwood has this huge basement, and all of this, the secret jewels and all of that stuff is there. So they got a little something there. I really liked Collinsport, as I mentioned before. I did like Eva Green's performance. She even altered her voice and made it husky, and like she's old but she's still sexy. That kind of thing going on. I like Depp's performance. I also had some problems with the makeups and makeup and some of the prosthetics. I didn't think he needed to go so white, and the long fingernails were pretty unnecessary as well. And of course, Jackie Earl Haley's performance. I love him in almost everything he's done since Bad News Bears. We're close to the same age, so I identified with him in that movie. He's a kind of a brat.
And in that sense, it would have worked if they had gotten, instead of Eva Green to play Angelique, if they had gotten Jack Warden.
It's true, that husky voice. Exactly, sexy old husky voice. Nobody's mentioned what's his name that played Roger. I thought he did a really good job being a really smarmy a-hole in this movie. John, I forget his name anyway, but
Johnny Lee Miller.
Yeah, thank you, Johnny Lee Miller, who also is in a fantastic production that's been videotaped of Frankenstein. With what's his name? Doctor Strange. Cumberbatch. Benedict Cumberbatch. And where they alternate roles. Really, really good. So yeah, I like Johnny Lee Miller. He might have been a little underused in this movie, actually. But I really liked his performance as well. And Michelle Pfeiffer, I adore her anyway. She can read the phone book. And she's a real fan of the show. She grew up with it. And she still expresses interest in, doing a reboot of it again somehow. And she'd like to be there and like to be involved in it. So she's a real fan of the show. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that I like about this movie, and obviously there are some terrible flaws in it. The last 10 minutes of the movie is death becomes her in a lot of ways. And I noticed that the first time I saw it, and I'm going, okay, you guys just plugged this in here, didn't you? You didn't know how to end this. Because they were in a hurry. They were in a hurry to get the damn thing into production because Richard Zanuck and a few other people said, "Oh no, we got to change it now." At least that's my informed opinion on it. But yeah, I mean, I look for things to enjoy in all things Dark Shadows. So,
by the way, Johnny Lee Miller, if you want to go watch another vampire movie, because Dracula 2000. Yes. Yeah. Patrick, what do you give this scale 1 to 10?
3, maybe. It is not a good movie for me. I don't like this movie. I don't think it's funny. I just reiterate myself. But it is a failure on almost every count. It's great that there is tremendous artistry in certain areas, and we can go, I like that hairdo, or whatever. But or this performance or that performance. But ultimately, if you go out and get the best, farm raised whatever artisan, this is and that, and you stick them into a turd, you're not really tasting any of the artisan stuff. You're tasting the turd.
Unless you're making a film, in which case
this is a turd for me. This is straight from Tim Burton's cornhole to your plate, and I have no interest in supping upon that. That it got people into it. Great. I don't say they have a scat fetish. I'm not saying that, but and I want to go on the record of that.
Aren't you though?
And it's to them, I would say go watch What We Do in the Shadows.
Absolutely. Way better comedy. Really funny and well done, well-crafted comedy.
Yes. I mean, compare those two. Don't compare this to Dark Shadows, the TV show. Compare it to that.
Yeah, I'm not going to compare it to anything. That's why, except Dark Shadows, because that's the only joy I can get out of this movie, to be honest with you.
I give
And
you
that's why I give it a 7. That's
yeah.
just a personal thing.
For me, I am the John Wick, and it is my dog.
It's fine.
And yeah, and so the joy I take is in revenge.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it did motivate me to do some extraordinary things. I mean, I gave up 45 days of my life
Yes.
to watch the entire series, and
To get back in touch with it. Yeah.
We're
yeah,
glad that you did.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I have to say, like a Marvel character, I didn't like getting hit by the truck with the radioactive stuff and being made blind, but now through smell alone, I can navigate a room,
Yes.
like Daredevil.
Yeah.
And so yeah, this is a good Marvel Comics origin for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and here I am.
You were bitten by a radioactive
Tim Burton.
vampire. Yeah, Tim.
Yeah, and his alcoholic life. Did I say that? Okay. Next.
This is why you're an expert when the rest of us are savants. Just
No,
saying.
stop it.
When I heard Alice Cooper was being cast,
He's great.
Yeah, he is.
I was hoping it was going to be as Barnabas's father. Was not. Alice Cooper himself is somebody who would tell you, and he said this when he was being cast in A Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy's Dead. He goes, "Look, I don't want to play myself. I want to play a character." And they said, "Great, we want you to play Freddy Krueger's dad," and he
Yeah.
did, and he did a hell of a job.
Yeah.
He can act. And that's what gets me
Yes.
is
Well, he does it on stage every
yeah,
night
he
that he
does.
performs.
Yeah. So I wish they would have wrote him as more of a character other than him. I know he himself is a character on stage, but I
Yes.
wish they would have wrote him as an actual character.
I got a great part for him. Not Joshua. Ben
The
Stokes.
ghost of Damien Edwards, of course.
No, seriously. Ben Stokes.
Ben Stokes, yeah.
Who is the closest that Barnabas has to a mentor.
Yes.
It's a mentor, oddly enough, in humanity, but it's the closest thing he has to someone who's going to help him navigate right and wrong, even if he keeps doing the opposite of whatever Ben says.
Right.
It was on his mind, and it probably comes back later.
It does. I think it comes back when in the present time.
Oh,
It keeps getting reminded of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to wait for our lives to be over.
Yeah. Okay, so we've discussed the movie. Is there anything anybody wants to add about the movie before we can move on to the next subject?
No, because I want to get to my bookmark at some
Well,
point.
I know. I'm asking
We're going to move on, I think, to the announcement that's been made.
The announcement. So earlier today, there was an announcement that there's going to be in development currently is a Dark Shadows adult animation. So Dark Shadows is going to be a cartoon. And I don't mind that. I grew up watching animation, adult animation. Huge fan of Adult Swim, Ghost in the Shell, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Dragon Ball.
You like
Dragon
a lot
Ball
of
Z.
anime too.
Yeah, I grew up a lot of it. I'm a Studio
some of
Ghibli
that.
fan, so
Yep.
that being said, I don't mind this at all. I think this is a great idea. So, ladies first, what are your thoughts of this, Samantha?
I was excited the minute I saw that. I was like, "Yay! It's still going. It's keep the fan base growing." And on that one news article, it said animation is looking to resurrect Barnabas for a new generation in an adult animated series adaptation as part of the series' 60th anniversary. So I'm hoping the gatekeepers will let the gate open for the Gen ABCD. Let them have some fun too. I mean, it's not going to be the same. It's never going to be the same.
All right.
Let's just keep the
Yeah, in talking about the fact it's never going to be the same, it's supposed to pick up where it left off in some respect, and rather than rehash old storylines, I think so.
Yeah.
Gates.
Yeah. Samantha, Christine, what are your thoughts?
Honestly, I am cautiously optimistic, and it and it's actually because I was optimistic with not, with no caution with this, 2012 film. And, I was thrilled, because Dark Shadows is being brought back. But I'm cautiously optimistic about this animated series coming forward. First of all, and Jill, you and I talked about this before the camera started rolling, but um, how in the world are you going to recast Jonathan Frid? Jonathan Frid has been gone since the movie came out. And and I think the best way is to animate it. You can animate Jonathan Frid and Barnabas, Jonathan Frid's Barnabas, and um I think it's great. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with it. And I'm really excited that it's not gonna be rehashed the way that it has. I think it's great that it's gonna be a continuation of the story, because I've always wanted to know what happened to Carolyn, what happened to David, what happened to Collinwood, where are we in 2026, and I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic, and I'm excited that Warner Brothers is taking it over, because we've kind of seen what Hulu and Netflix do, and not that they don't do a good job, but I think Warner Brothers is a good avenue to go. So I'm excited to see where they go, and I hope that, for goodness sake, I hope it's done right. I hope that more than anything. Yeah. Oh well, yeah, of course. So that's my vote.
Patrick,
Oh, yes.
what are your thoughts?
Well, I have many. As I'm trying to get my camera going again. Yes, my thoughts are this. My thought is, what if we had pants for fish? But also, I think this is all
Make $1 million.
I think it's all good and well. Yeah, I need to be well schooled in that. The let's okay. So my first thought is on one of the most inert, actionless series ever made. So much so that it very well could have been English. It's a weird choice to go to go with the animation, and then. And so I can only think about this as if I were the producer. So if I were the producer of the show, I would say, okay, great. Now that we have animation, what the hell can we do with this that they weren't able to do in standard TV? And then let's do a lot of that. So on one hand, I think viewers probably be furious and say, oh, where's my Dark Shadows? And it's sort of like The Onion did a good parody after Star Trek 09 came out, where they had disappointed fans saying, where were the long discussions about diplomacy? Where were the endless talks around tables about this or that? and so, yeah, I would not necessarily mire it for very long in the 20th century or 21st century at all. I would go all over the place because you have no budget. You can, as long as you can draw it and the audience will accept it as that thing, go for it. I had every episode in a different time period. The whole black opal thing or whatever it was.
Right.
Yeah, really, 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 just use animation. Don't take this amazing medium and just try and recreate a turgid soap opera, visually turgid soap opera. Do what you couldn't do on them. If they do that, I think we're in good shape.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Alan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a great medium for innovation. It's a really good medium for innovation if they decide to take it that way. You can do all sorts of things. You can have shapeshifters. You can go to exotic locations. You can have Count Patofi pop back up again. Thank you very much. Looking for his glasses. There are ways to do this. I mean, if they want to, they can approximate the appearance and the voices. Now, they may not want to do that in every case. They may not want. It might get a little expensive to pay rights to people for their likeness, but it's a possibility. It's a possibility. There are lots of things you can do with this medium. Another thing is going to be critical is the style of it. What's its appearance going to be? Is it going to look like a Hanna-Barbera, or is it going to look more, darker, a little
I'll
more
tell you what, I would respect it to the nth degree if they actually did make it look like a cartoon of that era.
of the 60s or
Yeah,
early 70s?
that's kind
Yeah.
of a funny idea.
Yeah, well, you've seen the likenesses that the illustrator has done that Penny Dreadful knows.
Yeah.
The Hanna-Barbera style stuff. I don't mind that at all. I think a lot could be done with that. And they resemble the characters enough without being exact, copies, that they could probably work that pretty well. But again, it's going to be the vocal talent is going to be real important. However they do it, it's going to be very important, I think.
Well, without Casey Kasem, they're lost.
Well, it's true. You got. I mean, he would have made a great Willie, wouldn't he? Zoinks, Barnabas.
Lecture on animal rights.
Well, it's the early 70s, so by that time Willie would have discovered weed and Scooby snacks. So yeah. But anyway, it does. It has endless possibilities as an animated series. So
I think too, it's not just about Dark Shadows. I've talked about this one before recording. It's about the lineup that HBO is going to have with it. But I don't know how HBO formats their cartoons or their animation, like what shows on what night or whatever. But when I was growing up and watching Toonami and Adult Swim, there would be different things on different nights. So you wouldn't have necessarily all action shows. Like for example, on one night you'd have Inuyasha and Venture Brothers, which Venture Brothers had action, but it had comedy as well.
mm-hmm.
And you also had another show that had a mix of that. Or the next night you had a different mix. So you wouldn't have necessarily the same themed shows. But each show was its own thing, and it was all strong shows. And I would say that's something Warner Brothers needs to focus on. And by what I've heard from Samantha, they already have a strong, gothic show, which is great. You do need that, but you need sort of
we talked about the nature of leading in with
right. You need the
strong stuff.
You need the counterpart to it. Okay, like Toonami's sort of a good and bad example. Okay, yes, it had Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, which could feel like a similar sort of, because it's about fighting, but it had a different show after that was not about fighting. So you sort of need those counterpart shows that aren't the same as the show you're already having. Yes, you can have Dark Shadows and the other show, but don't have them on the same night.
Mm-hmm.
They'll just fight.
Yeah. Let that fight.
Boy. Boy.
Godzilla versus Barnabas Collins.
I will say, from an animation standpoint, if I were to hire, if Warner Brothers wants to hire people to draw this,
mm-hmm.
Phone up Studio Ghibli, please. Because I mean, their hand-drawn animation, I've seen it. It's beautiful. They will give you a coastal town you wouldn't fucking believe. And it will be beautiful and scary at the same time.
Joel, I'll ask you a question pursuant to that. Because they've done this with occasionally some of the Elseworld stuff with DC. How would you feel about an anime Dark Shadows that was set in Japan? Where the evolving was literally imbued in culture. Would you be okay with that? Oh my God, he really isn't.
He is not okay.
I get it. I get it. Okay.
You lost him.
Alan, you're in charge.
It would be jarring for me to set it anywhere other than Collinsport, Maine. Although, I mean, anything is possible. I give over to anything with this kind of format, with this kind of media.
Yeah, I find the concept really interesting. Like when Batman became whatever in Japan or something like that, or Gotham by Gaslight.
Mm-hmm. Gotham by Gaslight was a great idea. That was a really good idea.
Or just a 6 episode What If. I really enjoy that. There's so many issues of the past and honor and forgive and what we don't forgive and so on are quintessential to that.
I I I say Studio Ghibli for one reason. When I go watch my favorite romantic animated movie, Whisper of the Heart, Shizuku, when you see her walking through Tokyo, those buildings are actually there, meaning they drew Tokyo in this fucking cartoon movie because
No, the
every
representation. Yeah.
right, not just that's what I mean. You need these people on board because they will draw a coastal town literally for you and make you feel like
they're
you're
to
there.
artists what Cy Tomashoff was to
Yes,
the
yes,
sets and so on.
yes.
Joel, the only time I've heard you say Shizuku is when you hit your hand with a hammer.
Well, that happens at least once a week.
No, she when
And then
you
you transformed into Shizuku.
The apartments she lives in are actually in Japan. I'm not making it up. Go watch it.
Could we have Dark Shadows without it being a coastal town though? Because I mean that was like, the Collins' whole business is, the cannery and the
No, we can't.
fishing fleet and
Japan's a coastal town.
Well, no, you don't have to have it in Japan.
Okay.
You have to have Collinsport, Maine. Have them draw it, and they will give you that town. They will have the fog rolling in. They will have the train going through the damn fog. You'll see a giant hill and a house on that hill. It will be Collinwood. I want these animators, like Alan said, are what Cy Tomasoff was to Dark Shadows. You need those kind of animators
Kind
who are
of a
going to be dedicated, who are going to be specific.
Yeah.
They should
wanted to look like
get
the Star
some of the
Trek.
writers from Big Finish.
There you go.
Those are some really good stories if you've listened to some of them. Whoever wrote those are really good.
Which ones?
The Big Finish ones.
Well, yeah,
I like the early ones.
English.
The early ones I really appreciated. The later ones kind of went far afield for me, but I get what you're talking about. There's some really good examples.
At least those are people who know the history and know what they're writing about, and yeah, like you said, it's going to depend on who they're getting to write the show.
Yeah.
Have you heard Kingdom of the Dead? That was their first sort of multi-part.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was amazing. Really enjoyed it. It may be my favorite overall Dark Shadows production. I really, really like it.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you guys want to add before we get?
Yeah, we covered a lot of territory tonight. This was awesome, guys.
This was a lot of fun.
What are we talking about next?
I know we have. Okay, so
what if Richard Nixon went to Collinsport?
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
He would be the real vampire of Collinwood.
So true. Him and Checkers.
Checkers. Oh my god!
No, Jesus Christ!
Yeah. What if he went to Collinwood?
Easy now. Easy.
Checkers.
Easy. Oh my god!
Can't help it, guys. Can't help it.
What?
Well, I think we've talked about various things in and around this. I have an idea. We talked about spin-offs, but in a sort of a very broad way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have what I think of as a parallel universe Dark Shadows that's a wacky idea, and I don't have it developed at all.
Okay.
But and if I throw this out there, people don't like it. That's fine. Do something else. I really mean it. But I can imagine a parallel series to Dark Shadows called House of Trask, and it focuses on this because really one of the things Dark Shadows is about two families going at it, and we don't really think about it. But it's ultimately you get a lot of stuff about the Trasks and the Collinses as parallel but mirrored creatures. So I kind of wonder about, if you were to do a parallel series of Dark Shadows, what would it be? To like the DS9 of Dark Shadows. I don't know. Whatever.
I would like to see Dark Shadows, the Martinique era, because I feel like we don't get much of Martinique except for Barnabas was a charmer and he is forever in debt to this woman scorned. I would love to see the Martinique era. So that's my vote, the Martinique story.
Gals. Okay, next Friday. Okay, what's something you'd like to see that Dark Shadows didn't do, whether it was Parallel Time, Martinique, or whatever? Think about it. And next Friday, we'll all talk about it. You can have your own thing. Are we all on board with that?
You're driving a car, and we're deciding where to get ice cream.
We're gonna have, it's gonna be called the Dark Shadows Cluster.
Love it. I'm here for it.
You'll make me pull over this car right now. I'm going to tell you. No, I'm just kidding. Oh my God. But are we all good for that next week?
Of course.
Yeah.
I love
Dark
it.
Shadows Cluster. Here it comes.
Samantha?
It's like a school assignment. I'm gonna need to see the syllabus. Wait.
You talk about the musical.
The syllabus.
Don't plagiarize. All right, that's all you need to know.
Sure, us.
Yes, sir. Yes, Professor.
Actually, it's Dark Shadows fandom. Everybody plagiarizes.
So did Dark Shadows.
Yes.
So true. The writer is a den of thieves.
Yes, it did.
Right. Samantha,
the producer was a criminal.
Samantha, what did you say? I'm sorry.
Say the essay prompt so I can write it down.
Talk about the musical. Talk about the music.
Talk about the music.
ADD, I'm sorry. You have to let me write it down. What? Say it again.
Talk about. We're talking about Dark Shadows. Either you could talk about what would you like to see that Dark Shadows never did, whether it be the Martinique, whether it be parallel time where the trash were like Patrick's saying, or something completely that you're thinking
Toilets
of.
in the old house.
Tell what's right. It's whatever you think of. It's your idea.
Samantha, I'm going to bring you on Between the Shadows and we can talk without all these boys. So
That's right. Too much testosterone in this room.
This is not a boys and girls club thing. We're all vaguely effeminate. It's all right.
It's true.
It's true. Don't let the beards fool you.
It might be too broad of a subject, though. It's going to be hard to narrow down.
Well,
narrow down.
I don't know. Can I tweak the prompt or give my thoughts on democracy is for people with a lot of time on their hands, said Garrison Keeler. If you were to do a Dark Shadows inspired project that covered stuff they didn't cover in the series, or it covered the series in a way it wasn't covered otherwise, what would you do? Your own sidequel to Dark Shadows. So it could be Dark Shadows musical. I'm going to talk about House of Trask. Jules is going to have them wrestling.
That's right.
With Michael Myers.
With Michael Myers, yes, sir.
I love.
Classy Freddie Blassie will be playing Patofi in Jules.
No, not at all.
Bill, you better close us out, or this is going to go so long.
I was waiting for Samantha to.
There you go.
I love it. Yes.
Love it.
I've got $17.95. I'm waiting for the next one to come out, so I'll buy two of them at the same time and get free shipping.
So frugal.
1840 will come out before September, I promise.
Sweet.
Going on. I'm still coloring 1841 Parallel Time, which will be part of it. So it is a bigger book. It's going to be at least like 10 pages more than the other two.
Cool.
It's a lot.
There you go.
Down, but yeah, we're working on it. And the convention's coming up, and my son's turning 21, and life is moving forward. We got a lot to do.
Yes.
Indeed, we do.
It's true.
Link to Samantha's books are going to be in the description box. Both The Curious Characters of Hollywood and 1795 are going to be in the description box. Link to Patrick McCray's Dark Shadows Daybook About is going to be in the description box. Link to Alan Galland's YouTube channel, Collins Port After Dark is going to be in the description box. Link to Christine Pierce's Between the Shadows and Dark Shadows podcast is going to be in the description box. First of all, thank you, everybody. Samantha, Christine, Alan, Patrick, thank you all so very much for giving me your time.
Joel, we
Thank
love
you,
you.
Joel.
Have a good weekend. Take care. Be safe.
Bye, everyone. Bye.